Hey guys, how we doing? My name is Eric. I'm going to show you guys how to do a transmission fluid drain and fill in a 2012 Civic. This is not the SI model, as most of you can probably tell. This is the 1.8 liter R18 engine with a 5-speed automatic transmission. If you have a manual transmission, this is not the procedure for you. Also, some of the newer Civics that have the R18 engine also use a CVT, continuously variable transmission. This is also not the procedure for that. Both are fairly similar, but you'll need different fluid for both the manual transmission and for the CVT transmission. It's critical that you use the right one, so make sure that you know what transmission you have. We can go inside the car here and I'll show you the shifter, but it's not necessarily going to be a dead giveaway. I'm not sure what the CVT looks like. So again, this car is the standard 5-speed automatic. So if your shifter looks like this, it's probably what you have. Otherwise, if you feel the car shifting as you drive, that should be what you have. A CVT is, it's hard to describe, but it's seamless. There's not traditional gears like a manual or a standard automatic transmission. It's continuously variable. So again, it's not really going to shift. It's going to be a smooth transition. So if your shifting is very smooth, it's a possibility that you have the CVT. Check your owner's manual. It should say in there what you have. Otherwise, the documentation that you got with the car. Again, this is for a Civic with a R18 1.8 liter single cam engine with a 5-speed automatic transmission. Not the CVT, not the SI manual, not a standard manual, and so on. So the first thing you have to do with this car is get it up and off the ground. I have another video if you aren't sure how to do that. Right now I actually have all 4 corners on jack stands to get a little bit more clearance to make things easier. So once you have it on the stands, you can proceed. Again, I'll put the link below on how to jack the car up. One more thing to note, this procedure will cover any Civic besides the SI with the automatic 5-speed transmission from 2006 to present, which is, right now it's 2015. So 2006 to 2015, this procedure should be the same for your car. For other Honda automatics, it should be very similar as well, but the fluid capacities could be a little bit different. So things that you'll need for this, it's actually very simple. Again, this is just a drain and fill, not a flush. Honda actually does not recommend doing a flush anymore, a high pressure flush. They just recommend doing a drain and fill. So what you'll need, I have 3 quarts here because you'll need 2.5 quarts, 2.5 quarts. So I have 3 of those. Only use the Honda transmission fluid. You know, some people will say, oh, you can use the stuff that's $2 cheaper a quart. It's not worth messing around with. Get the stuff that is designed for your car. It might cost you an extra $5 or $10. But this way you know you've got the stuff that is most definitely right. Original equipment is the best to use. Get the Honda stuff. Also, you'll need a 3/8 ratchet. You do not need any sockets for it, just a 3/8 ratchet. A funnel with a long hose. The transmission filler hole is quite small. It's down a ways, so you'll need something long like that. Then you'll just need like an oil catch pan for when the oil or for when the transmission fluid drains out to catch it. So that's about it. So to get started, over at the car here, what you'll want to do first, so over on this side is obviously your engine, and the timing cover is over on this side as well. The transmission will always be on the side opposite of timing. So on this car, it's to the right. I'm looking at the front of the car. The transmission is on the right-hand side. So you need to find the transmission filler cap or dipstick, and in this case, it's this yellow loop. You can't really see it here. I'll pull it out. So there's the hole there. This is the dipstick where you can check the fluid level. You see that the fluid is red. And you'll also notice, I don't know if my camera's focusing enough, but it says hot. So you actually want to get the car up to running temperature when you check this. And you want to make sure that the car remains warm as you check this. So if you need to top it off, make sure that you let the car reach running temperature again. So for starters, we'll take this out. I'm just going to leave it kind of sitting here, just not plugged in. So what that will do is it'll allow the fluid on the bottom to drain out more quickly. So now we're going to go into the car. Again, that's all you need to do on the top. Okay guys, now we're underneath the car. On the 2012, there's actually a metal shroud that kind of covers up this area. So there's just 4 screws. You just take those out and this is exactly what you're going to see. So this is your exhaust pipe, and again, this going this direction is to the back of the car. This way is to the front. So I'm in the front, right underneath the front bumper of the car right now. And I'm looking just to the right. And I've actually pre-loosened this bolt. You might see a little bit of fluid there dripping. That's because I pre-loosened it. There is a very good chance that if this is the first time you change this fluid, this bolt is going to be very, very tight. I know I recommended just a regular 3/8 drive socket. There's a chance you'll need a breaker bar. If you have a lot of strength, I'll be honest, I don't. You might be able to get it off if you're pretty strong. Otherwise, you'll need a breaker bar or an extension, something like that, to help you get that off. So now we just need to do the drain and fill. I'm going to try to get a little bit more of a close-up here to this bolt. To make sure you know it's the right one, the dead giveaway is that it's a square hole. It's a round plug, but a square hole. This should be the only one down here with a square. That's the drain. So I'm going to set the camera back down. Try to back it up a bit here. So again, I've pre-loosened it, so I'm just going to position my pan here in front of it. This should be a fairly controlled spill, but it's probably still going to be a little messy, so I'm going to get my hand rag ready here. So again, I pre-loosened. There's no way that you're going to loosen this with just your hands. But what we need to do is just take the bolt out and let it drain. Again, if this fluid's still in decent shape, which it should be, I only have 30,000 miles on this car, it should be a nice red color. And you can see it's kind of a, I don't know if you can see that very well, it's kind of a reddish brown. You know, it's got a little bit of wear to it. There, it looks a little bit more red. Darker it is, if it smells burned, the fluid's no good. So you want to let this drain. You can see it comes out very quickly. In fact, it's going to be to a dripping level here in probably just another 15 seconds or so. Now the manual, the service manual for this car calls for about 2.5 quarts for a drain and fill. Actual capacity is probably 4 or 5 quarts. Automatic transmissions have what's called a torque converter, and that's filled as well. When you do a drain, everything that's in the torque converter is not going to get emptied out. It's stuck there. You cannot drain the torque converter. So what Honda actually recommends, if you do this every 30,000 miles, all you have to do is a drain and fill. You might even be able to stretch that to 40 or 50,000 miles if you drive pretty conservatively and not in extreme weather. But if you do drive in extreme weather, or you only do this once every 60,000, 70,000 miles, what Honda recommends is doing a drain and fill with new fluid 4 times. So you would do this drain and fill, you would get in the car, start the car, get it to running temperature, shift through the gears slowly, do that a couple of times, come back under the car, drain it again, and then repeat that again. It's either 3 or 4 times. And the purpose of this is that it cycles the fluid through the torque converter, so that each time it dilutes it even more, and before you know it, 90+% of the fluid after you do those 3 or 4 drain and fills is going to be new fluid. You'll never get all of the old fluid out, but if you do a drain and fill enough times, of course you will get most. One other thing to note here is you'll see this plug. I haven't really wiped it down yet, but again, this is just the drain plug that we just took out. This is a magnetic tip, so what this will do is, as metal shavings and whatnot just from normal engine wear float by, they will grip to this and prevent damage to the transmission. So just want to make sure that you wipe that off really well before you put it back in. Make sure, take a look and make sure there's nothing crazy on there. Shouldn't be. And also, there's a crush washer on this as well. I usually get a new one. I'm going to go get that from the counter now. But I would replace this. Helps prevent leaks. It's a 10-cent washer, so worth replacing when you do this. Looks like we're still draining here. We're just going to give it a few more minutes and let that really drip out. Okay, we're down to a pretty slow drip, so we're going to go ahead and put the drain plug back in. I've installed my new crush washer here. Again, 10-cent part. Make sure you grab one when you go get the fluid from the Honda. Or if you order it online, I'm sure you can find them as well. But again, just put it in here And again, you know, this bolt it doesn't need to be that tight. I don't know what the manual calls for, but I would guess it's probably only about 25 foot-pounds of torque. I'm not gonna use a torque wrench, but 25 foot-pounds is not very tight. It's certainly not loose, but as you will probably experience when you do this on your own, this bolt was in there with Hercules-like strength. So it doesn't need to be that tight. So we'll just tighten it up a little bit again. Snug, but not overly tight. If you over tighten this, you'll be in big trouble. All right, that is plenty. Wipe up any excess. You'll see that a little bit will get on some of this plastic here. It's not a huge deal. I'll just keep it cleaned up. So really at that point we are done with the bottom of the car. You can go ahead and reinstall the steel or the metal cover that goes here, and then we're done underneath the car. So pretty simple to get the fluid out, and then we're going to go back up and fill it up. Okay guys, back at the top of the car now. This is the area where I showed you the dipstick before, right here. You'll see the red battery terminal here on the right hand side of the engine bay. I'm still looking, I'm at the front of the car looking towards the rear. So this way is rear, this way is front. So anyways, we're going to take out that yellow dipstick like I showed you a moment ago, and we're just going to set it aside. And then we're going to get our long funnel. And make sure that this, you know, that your funnel is clean. You don't want any contaminants going into this. So again, make sure the funnel is clean, and then just place it right into the transmission hole where the dipstick was. And this isn't showing very well. My funnel's actually a little too long. But all we need to do now is fill it up. And there goes the dipstick. I'll worry about that later. So anyways, all you have to do is fill it up. Again, 2.5 quarts is what you should need. Use the Honda fluid. This replaces all of the prior fluid. This is ATF DW1 fluid. Use this in your Honda, that's it. Automatic transmission, non-CVT model, use this. Don't mess around. So I'll pour in 2 quarts quickly. That's 1 quart. Sorry, it really looks like my light here is throwing off the camera. That might be better. Not that there's anything to see. Again, just pouring in another quart here. This is quart number 2. Just gonna make sure it didn't spill any here. Looking good. And now we need about 1/2 quart. So pour this one a little bit more slowly and make sure you pay attention. And we'll pour another 1/2 quart in. And you do want to be careful not to overfill this. And that is just about 2.5. So now what we're going to do is reinstall the dipstick. Which I have dropped. We'll reinstall the dipstick and then let the car run until the radiator fans kick on. Let it run for 10 or 15 minutes. Let the fluid get warm, and then we'll check the level. Okay, so the engine's been running now for probably 10 minutes. Should be getting pretty warm. The radiator fan hasn't turned on yet, but we should be pretty warm. So what we'll do now to get this fluid circulating and make sure we can get an accurate reading is we'll get in the car with it still running. Put your foot on the brake fairly firmly, just so that the wheels don't move. And then we're actually going to go through the gears one by one, holding it in each gear for just a few seconds. So we'll start with reverse. Go down to neutral, let it sit again for a few seconds. And then drive. And we're actually going to do this a few times to get some of that fluid into the torque converter. And again, make sure that we can get an accurate reading when we pull the dipstick. Back to neutral. Reverse. Neutral. Drive. Neutral. Reverse. And then just back to park. So again, make sure you let your car run for a little while. Make sure that the engine and the transmission have time to warm up. Once you go through the shifting procedure, turn the car off. And then we'll go back out to the engine here, and again we're just going to get a reading off the dipstick and make sure that we've added enough fluid. So again, yellow handle, right hand side of the engine bay. Pull the dipstick, give it a good wipe first. The first reading is not accurate. Place it back down into the hole. Make sure that the rubber plug seats in the hole. Make sure it's tight. Pull it out again and take a look. And I can see that the word hot here has got some fluid on it, so I think we're in good shape. Just going to check again. And again, it looks, probably can't see this in the camera, but it looks like we're pretty full. And then what you'll want to do is again just make sure that the plug is seated in there nice and tight. Take the car around the block. Make sure you check for any leaks underneath the car when you get back, or actually when you pull out. Chances are if you have a leak, it'll be there already. But that's about it. If you guys have any questions or run into anything, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I would certainly appreciate a like if you guys, or a thumbs up, I should say, if you guys found this helpful. Again, if you have any questions, shoot me a comment. I'll do what I can to help. Thanks all.